Hello and welcome to the Sunday Guardian show by Joyeeta Basu. I'm the editor of the weekly newspaper, The Sunday Guardian, published from New Delhi. Today, we have a very special guest, Col Ajay Singh, who is a writer of several books. He's a regular writer for The Sunday Guardian as well. Plus, he keeps writing articles. And he has even won prizes. I think it is Tagore International Prize you have won.
Yes, the
And
Rabindranath Tagore Award in 2021.
okay, yes, and the thing is that his latest book is on Ukraine. First question, Colonel Singh. Before the question, of course, I welcome you to the show. So,
Thank you, Joyeeta.
is a book on Israel and Hamas in the offing?
No, but an article definitely is, which I have sent to you just today morning. So I hope to see it in the Sunday Guardian on Sunday itself. But a
Yes.
book, no. At the moment, no such plans for it.
So tell me, I mean, this is something all of us, I mean, this attack took place last Saturday, and all of us have been totally, I mean, shocked. What happened to Israel's much vaunted intelligence and military network? How is it that, they missed something as big as this?
You know something? There's only one word answer to it: complacency. Nothing more than that. We all know the entire 41-kilometer long strip of the Gaza Strip is surrounded by fencing, by cameras. They have Israeli fortification across virtually the entire length of it. The thing is, there had been no serious action for a very long time. And Israel obviously missed the warning signs. There are reports that the cameras did catch on messages and no soldiers acted upon this. The other thing is, the timing which Hamas selected was actually very good. It was one of the holiest days, the Shin Bet Torah, as they call it. It's one of the holiest days of the Jewish calendar. It's a day of prayer and celebration. The third aspect is, they caught Israel at a time when the country is divided internally. Remember, a lot of the anti-government and pro-government protests going on for months have diverted the attention of the security and the intelligence forces. So all these things put together has led to what is a colossal intelligence failure. There's no other word for it.
Now, there is some talk, that these borders that Israel has, these are all, I mean, technologically, I mean, they're looking that the whole intelligence is coming technologically and there were not enough boots on the ground. Do you think that could be a possible reason?
Whenever we technology used by all armies. The Israelis, of course, use it much more extensively. But it always has to be manned by people who are observing the inputs which technology gives you. There are cameras, all right, but there will be a man operating the monitors of the video cameras to get those inputs. From what I've been trying to gauge it myself. What I've been reading is, yes, the technology, the cameras give you the inputs. The soldiers saw it, but they obviously shrugged it off as routine activity. And remember, the delay doesn't have to be very long. It was just about a 45-minute or 1 hour delay, maybe even lesser than that, which was enough time for the Hamas operatives to have started the action there. So this, we in the army call that dhilapan, that sense of complacency had set in, which is why they did not react in time.
Right. So, and when we are, and what about actual human intelligence from inside Gaza? What happened to that? I mean, if I can say one more thing, I mean, there is this interview that is doing the rounds that has been taken by a particular television channel in the Arab world of a Hamas senior officer or a senior operative. Now, he is talking about this preparation has been going on for 2 years. Okay. And he's saying that even the Russians called them and asked whether it was happening or not. I mean, it seems everybody knew, all the countries knew. And how is it that, this Shin Bet and Mossad, they did not get an idea of what is going on from inside Gaza? I mean, there should be enough how is it the human factor failed so badly?
Now, that is very vital because obviously Mossad has penetrated virtually every agency in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. They're past master. They would be having the people who give the information to them. The very fact that they didn't give you is that you have to credit Mossad and its Qasim brigade who did the attack with concealing the intentions very well till the last moment. That you have to give credit to the enemy for that. Also,
it's difficult to use the word credit here because after all, it was an act of terrorism.
Yes. So let me say you have to give credit to the manner in which the operation was planned. I do not condone it in any way.
Yes.
But yes, as a military operational planning, you concealed it. Let's grant him that, if nothing else, right?
Yeah.
Also, look at the execution. Look at the simplicity of the execution. They had got all the operatives together. I mean, except for the top, the head of the Muhammad Waif, the head of the head of the Qassam brigade. He and a few top people were aware of the plans. They had got their operatives to move to the sites where the bulldozers were going to be dozing it just about half an hour before the dozing began. When people were moved to the sites, they had moved in their civil dresses because all the Hamas operatives are civil in any case. They obviously would be given arms and ammunition at some checkpoints, which calls for good coordination, and then told to just pour inside. The Israelis did catch information of vehicular movement, but what were the vehicles? They were normal civil pickup trucks moving in that direction. So that coordination and fine tuning obviously was very well coordinated by Hamas, which allowed them to conduct and like you said, the planning had gone on for 2 years, if not more. There is no way in which you could have launched a coordinated attack like this unless it had been impeccably planned to the last detail. So, though you don't like the word, but yes, one has to say it was a well executed deception and concealment measure which Hamas had took, which allowed them to carry out an attack on this scale.
Yeah, but at the same time, they obviously did not think it through because when you are, they thought in tactical terms, the kind of violence they are going to inflict on their enemy, on the Israelis, and the kind of torture and mayhem. Maybe they thought it through, or maybe they did not. But the fact is that did not they even think? It seems like they did not think what is going to happen after that, because it was expected that Israel would retaliate. When you have one of the worst terrorist attacks in human history, perhaps, ever since we have been, talking in terms of terrorism and all, it's perhaps one of the worst terrorist attacks. And to expect that a power like Israel is going to keep quiet and not flatten Gaza, what were these people thinking?
Well, let me give you a counter view. What if it was part of the plan? What if the Israeli response was what they were looking at? They knew the Israelis would respond like this. And now look at what is happening. Look at the newspaper the past 7 days. The Israeli response, they will eliminate Hamas. They will destroy a lot of Gaza while they are at it. But slowly, the sympathy wave towards Israel is waning away, and a lot of people are expressing sympathy towards the Palestinian cause. The Palestinian cause is back on the table. So maybe that was the aim. They have also subtly disrupted the ongoing peace process. There was a summit between Saudi and Israel.
Nothing subtle about it. They did it in they bulldozed.
Okay. Right. No, but I will say, let me put it this way. This was the underlying motives behind it.
Yeah, okay, fine.
So perhaps the motive was not so much that mayhem, but the reaction of the Israelis, which they knew would tilt world opinion towards them.
No, but at the same time, when you are looking at world opinion right now, they may be thinking that they're trying to tilt world opinion towards them. But the fact is that world opinion is not tilting towards them, because when you see horrific images or you hear about horrific things like babies being decapitated, babies have been thrown into flames, burnt to death. I've heard even worse things. And right now they are saying that, 13 hostages they have taken, they have been killed, they have raped women, and they have killed them, massacred them, they have taken away grandmothers, and they have beheaded. How can they even expect, except in the in a particular, of a people among our particular
Yes.
faith who even,
Mindset.
I would say, huh? So,
Right.
except for that, where is the sympathy? Even in the US, places like Harvard and all, who came out with such horrendous statements justifying Hamas's violence, even they have started retracting. Even the
Correct.
leftists have started retracting. So I
Correct.
personally think that they have overplayed their, I mean, they thought, perhaps
Correct.
they did not think as much as they thought it would. They never thought it would happen like this.
Yes. But now look at it this way. When the Israeli reaction continues, do you envisage a short, swift response to the end of the problem? I don't think so. I think it'll be a protracted response. Maybe this is what they planned, a long, protracted war. And the more and more images of flattened homes in the Gaza Strip, dead babies and children in the Gaza Strip come about, perhaps the sympathy factor will shift to the other side with
That is
time.
what they're banking
Is
on.
is that part of the overall plan? I think that is the overall plan.
So who all do you think backed Hamas? Who all do you have a think that have a stake in disrupting the peace process in the Middle East? Because if you look at it, it's disrupting a lot of things.
Of
I2U
course,
is disrupted. IMEC, India, Middle East, Europe
right?
corridor is disrupted. We have to think in
Right.
terms of Chabahar port as well, considering
Of
India
course,
has
right.
come out in support. So who do you think? Who are the people who are gaining?
Well, like Agatha Christie said, na, if you want who the suspect that gains most. In this case, who gains most? Iran.
Or is it
Iran
China?
has Iran. Iran has recently signed the deal, a peace deal with Saudi. But at the same time, should the Saudi-Israel summit have taken place, rapprochement of Israel and acceptance of Israel by its Arab neighbors have taken place, the power center would have shifted completely to the Israel-Saudi axis. Iran would have been very badly sidelined in the Middle East. Also, Iran and Israel are sworn enemies.
Yeah.
And in spite of the peace deal with Saudi, relations between Shia Iran and Sunni Saudi Arabia are not really exactly cordial, even at this point of time. So Iran would have most to gain by putting Israel in the back foot and sending it back into isolation all over again. Also, who executed this attack? Hamas. What is Hamas? Hamas and Hezbollah are both proxies of Iran. And there is no way, and I specify, there is no way in which they have done it without the actual support and the blessings of Iran.
Yeah, I'm told that a lot of support for Hamas, particularly, comes also from Turkey and Qatar. So, no, we are not talking about Qatar's role in this and Turkey's, because Erdogan is known to be a backer of terrorism, especially ISIS
Yes,
and all. Yeah,
yes,
I have to say something on
yes,
that.
yes. You see, both Qatar and Turkey have come out in statements, I would say not condoning Hamas. If you take a look at their statement, all say it has been a result of the oppression suffered by the Palestinian people. Surprisingly, even Saudi Arabia's first statement was this. They called for peace, all right, but they say it is the result of the actions on the oppressions of the Palestinian people. So that Arab cause, if you take a look at it, has once again come to the forefront. And the Palestinian issue, which was now on the back burner, people had forgotten it. That two-state solution nobody spoke of any longer.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it is picking up ground all over again. So coming back to your earlier question, is all this part of a grand plan in which the objective was not so much the mayhem within Israel, but the reaction to the mayhem within Israel?
Hmm. Absolutely. Now, so where do you think is West Asia or the Middle East, as it's known, headed? Which way do you think? I mean, will there be realignments, or is it too tough to say what is going on right now? Will there be a wider war? Will it spread? Because you see too much at stake for everyone in this.
Joyeeta, I need a crystal ball. This is a question very few can answer. If you look at the imponderables. Are they right now, today as we speak, and we're only in the 6th day of the war? Even now, what is happening? Will there be a let's go sequentially. Will there be a ground invasion of Gaza Strip? Yes, there will be, because there's no other way in which they can physically eliminate Hamas and its rockets and missiles and the tunnels they have in it. So Israel will launch an attack. Will there be civilian carnage? Yes, there will be. Will Hezbollah open a front from Lebanon? I would say that is iffy, 50-50.
Okay.
Will Iran actively get involved? I would say not actively, but covertly, yes.
Okay.
Will Qatar and Saudi now take sides, moving the tilt away from Israel back towards Arab unity and the Palestinian cause? I would say yes. A very strong likelihood. So eventually, this war, and look at it this way, if they have a ground war, if Israel launches a ground war, which I think they will they be able to finish it fast?
I don't
Like what Putin hoped for? No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Remember the last war with Hamas in 2009, they fought for 50 days. Now, Hamas is better prepared. They're prepared for the response, like I said. If they're prepared for the response and you're going to fight house to house, tunnel to tunnel, cellar to cellar, will the aim of Hamas is prolong the war.
You're right.
And I would give tentative timelines. A war lasting more than 10 weeks, I beg your pardon, more than 2 weeks will suddenly shift public opinion more towards I won't say Hamas, but more towards the Palestinian cause, and the sympathy, with the initial sympathy which Israel has, will slowly start dissipating.
Yes, and you think, what about West's involvement? Will the US be getting involved? And also, this has a direct impact on the Ukraine war as well.
Yes. Well, the US is showing its overt support. They've sent 2 carrier groups to the Middle East immediately. Then, of course, they've already diverted ammunition to Israel, including ammunition for the Iron Dome, which could not take which required it. So, as far as Ukraine is affected, poor Ukraine, in any case, its arms and aid was being gradually reduced. USA had reduced it drastically in the last budget. It's now going to be sent towards Israel, and Ukraine will suffer from it. The other thing is, how will Russia be the gainer?
Yeah.
With attention being diverted from the Ukraine war, from the war in Europe, back to the Middle East, which is much more volatile as a flashpoint for the world, they will suddenly have a free rein once again to pursue their military objectives. Maybe make the war more. So, will other countries get involved? No. Overtly, nobody would want to get involved. US has come, sending 2 carrier forces is a strong statement of intent. But nobody would want to put their hand in the hornet's nest of the Middle East at this point of time, or even later on. So covertly, there'll be a lot of actions going on. But overtly, I don't think anybody will get involved.
So here, a pertinent question, I think, is about India and Israel. And especially, first of all, the stand we have taken, which I personally think is the right thing to do. Right. And number one. And number two, given that I'm going to talk purely in terms of the defense, the stuff that we buy from them, or right. Maybe, surveillance and all these things, will that have an impact on India, Israel, military defense relationship in terms of the stuff, as I said, the stuff that we buy from them, the defense material that we buy from them?
Well, I'm going to give a broader scope to your question. I'm not speaking of Israel, entire Middle East. India's relations with the entire Middle East is going to be affected by this. Now, look at India's stance. The first stance, very correctly, we strongly condemned Hamas terrorism for what it is, terrorism, and
Absolutely.
stood by Israel's stance to support itself in every way possible.
Mhm.
We have suffered from terrorism 2007, and I can
2008,
say
I
what
think.
2008, what hurt most was that our response was a 20,000 page dossier, or nothing more than that.
Yeah.
That hurt as an Indian.
We're talking
So
about
I would say
26/11, of course.
yes,
But apart
yes,
from that, several other attacks, India has been at the
yes, yes.
affairs
It's
of
only now.
terrorism for a very long
Yes,
time.
yes, but it's only after we had a more muscular response that
Hmm.
the attacks have stopped. Touch wood, and let's hope it remains this way.
Uh,
But look at the statements now which are emanating. Just today morning's papers, what did they say? The standard call for peace and a slight touch of sympathy towards the Palestinian cause and people.
hmm.
Which is what I mean by saying that India, the sympathy factor will shift, and India will now have to play a very delicate. We have wonderful relations. Hats off to our external affairs minister and the entire ministry and the prime minister for giving those directions. We have lovely relations with Israel, Saudi, UAE, the Middle East nations, including Iran.
Yeah.
Now, the delicate part is for us to walk the tightrope to maintain the relationship should relationships between Israel and its neighbors go awry.
Hmm.
The other thing is I2, U2, which was considered to be a Middle East quad grouping.
God, huh?
Yeah, I think and UAE may have a few reservations at this point of time. The third and most important, the very famous India, Middle East, Europe corridor, dependent on both Israel and Saudi and the Middle East nations,
Hmm.
including Chahab Bahar port, which is so correctly bought out in Iran. They would be, I'm afraid, they would be on the back burner for some time to come.
Well, I was told, I mean, I heard that, what is going to happen. The India Saudi part of the IMEC will work fine. What is
Right?
kind of the problem is now the Saudi Israel part. That I think
Yes,
is in trouble right now. So let us,
yes,
but at the same time, there's maybe a little bit of hope in terms of that the response from both Saudi and UAE
correct.
has been
Yes,
muted. Although it seems that China is trying to get Saudi and Iran together, you know. I mean, they have
yes, they
already
did.
done it
Yes,
once, and now they are again
yes,
doing it. Basically, it is all
yes.
seems like a lot of it is like a Chinese game to get the, if you are going to think in that way, terms of that way, a lot of it is also China seems to be playing along the fault lines of West Asia, which are now kind of back to being gaping wounds.
Yes. Yes. Well, so far I would put it like this. Yes, China, like every other country, we are in every country involved invested in West Asia and the Middle East because it is a source of oil. And the fact it's got a very important strategic position in the world. Every country, every big power, USA, Europe, China, India, we do want to ensure that we have a position in the Middle East. China is getting more active. I mean, they are as dependent on the oil as India is. So they have got active by getting Iran and Saudi together. Now, these tensions also don't suit them right now. For the simple reason, these tensions have got USA back as a player in the Middle East. When
Yes.
USA had been gradually eased out
Hmm.
subtly
Hmm.
by its inaction, I would put it. So now by them coming back, maybe it is a disadvantage for China to do so.
Hmm.
So China's role, I think they'll be watching it, but I do not see an active Chinese role in all this.
Okay.
But yes, they too will be equally affected like we are, and like the whole world is.
Yeah. Now, one last question. The thing is that what are the lessons that India can derive from, in terms of, I'm talking about militarily, what are the lessons India can derive from what is going on in Israel?
One very simple answer. Don't let your guard down now or ever. Israel had done that. They had got complacent, like I told you.
Mm-hmm.
India, we should realize that an attack can come anytime. Remember, we have to succeed every time. A terrorist has to succeed once.
And you think this would have energized the, terrorists that are in countries that are there, our neighbors, Bangladesh and Pakistan?
Of course. It is such a fillip for fundamentalist groups. They will be all wondering, wow, how can I be the next hero now? So we have to keep our, and also our own intelligence, it was intelligence failure.
Yeah.
Let's face it, India has had intelligence failures repeatedly. I'm talking about 47, 48 when the Pakistanis had attacked Kashmir, 62, the Bombay attacks, Kargil, everything. The importance of developing a strong and network based not only on technology, but on human intelligence, as you brought out correctly, to thwart something like this is essential.
Absolutely. I mean, India will have to be on its toes, boots on the ground, its intelligence people everywhere. So I think we have to work, if not doubly, in fact, 4 times harder than what we would usually do. Thank you, Colonel Singh, for being on the program.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
it's been such a pleasure interacting with you like it always is. And like everybody else, let's hope some semblance of normalcy and peace returns to the Middle East and the rest of the world, because it's going to affect, I would say, every country around.
Everybody. I know. Thank you. Yes. Thank you once again. And thank you, viewers. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers, for watching this. Until the next time.